Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? Guys, we are getting quite a bit of new stuff popping off, but at the same time, it feels almost as if a lot of time is being killed in between us getting what's truly about to pop off and just overall what my expectation is for this whole situation that's about to blow up. As we know, our main character is pretty like lovable and wants the best for people. He gets three uppercuts. Why? Um, and because he has these qualities, because he really can't say no, because he's, a really good friend and all this different stuff, it's weird to see him in a situation now where if things supposedly continue the way they are going, it's going to amount to his fault. It's going to amount to something with him being involved because of his, the leader, the senpai. And because of this, it definitely feels like he's going to feel more encouraged and more dedicated maybe to fixing whatever problems may be caused by his battlers, by his senpai or whatever. But at the same time, this guy is doing this for someone else, right? Like he is full blown trying to destroy and do all this stuff for someone he looks up to. And we also see that this character had someone he admired, someone he actually cared about. So to know that he's got someone out there that he cares about, that he is actually probably wishing he can see more of, it might be another thing that our character can pretty much play to as a device of making, you know, this guy come back to our side and maybe expose the person that is putting him up to this in the first place. Because as of now, it just feels like we don't know nearly enough as to why this is even a thing, right? Like, why is it that they're trying to destroy the school? Um, I kind of understand where the guy is coming from because of the story he kind of gave us. Uh, he clearly has lost somebody, or somebody he cared about was hurt because of maybe the status they were, or the status they hadn't even gotten yet. And because of higher status, or because of people with power throughout the academy and the school, they might have gotten away with it just because they had the authority to, or the power to just be like, yeah, no, I didn't do any of that, and just write it off. So it feels like this guy has already gone through something bad. And because of that, it's leading me to believe that anything that kind of comes after finding this information out is going to be relatively telling, right? Like it's either going to give us more insight on why he's doing what he's doing, or we're finally just going to learn like the true master of it. And seemingly it's the father of the guy I was talking about with this with the yellow hair, who's really, trying to become the demon lord and all that, which would make sense in the case of like how much uh, like turmoil and trouble his father's trying to cause, in the case of why he would be so like dedicated into becoming the demon king, including if he has someone like his father that he clearly is mad at, that doesn't even like spend time or pay attention to him, I'm guessing, because of it seemed like his sister was really happy to see, like whatever he was doing in school, but then she tells him that his father can't come, and he just gets kind of angry or starts yelling, and when he's dead asleep and hearing something about his father wakes him up and angers him. So it's definitely the guy who is making these moves, I feel, or maybe I guess it could be a person that is just related to him, like maybe it's like a brother, but it definitely feels like it's the father. He's the father. He's the father of these yellow-haired, spiky Super Saiyan devils. Um, but as a whole, I definitely see the show um, kind of taking its time with every single move it makes. And I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing as of right now in the case of we haven't seen what the fruits are going to bear from all this time of waiting. I was pretty convinced that we were going to see something relatively pop off this week's episode when really all it did turn into was another way of kind of getting answers to a question of why is this even taking place or why is this even happening, instead of them just being like, well, here you go, now we're getting into it, like they pretty much stifled back from that, which I could respect. Unlike this character who has unblockable attacks, I can't respect that. But as a whole, man, I definitely am gonna lose this fight, and I want to hear what you guys are thinking about this show because as of now, um, it was pretty like unclear what we were going to get as a whole. We didn't know. I need to sidestep, and it's not coming out. We didn't know what we were going to get with this show, or I didn't know what I was going to get with this show, and I was expecting anything. And I love the spacing that these stupid robots have. Oh, he's going to throw a kick. I should step back perfectly here, and if I stand here, I'll be able to punish it now. I wish I was a robot, so I just know exactly what's being pushed, and I can react to it accordingly. But I'm not. Regardless of that, there's so much that could potentially happen through this, like part of the school getting destroyed and causing some kind of trouble, amongst everybody in the case of just rebuilding and dealing with the overall outbreak of whatever happens throughout this event. So I'm looking forward to that as much as I am to just learning of what's going to happen in the future of this show. Because, like I was saying, it's like 26, 24 episodes, and because of that, there's a good chance for them to just put forward a lot more detail before getting to the main plots and points of it all. So I appreciate that more than anything because it just goes to show you that there is some type of promise, in the case of like storytelling wise, in the case of maybe there being long lasting arcs, in the case of more seasons to come, or just more things to pop off in general because the show knows what it wants to do. It's taking its time getting to those things, and I think people are appreciating it for taking its time and doing this stuff. I mean, like I said, only time will tell at the end of the day because here we are pretty far in the show and we still don't really have an understanding of the power or the full-blown change that our main character is going through. So I feel like if they really want to start addressing these things, we're almost at the end of the first half of this, or we're at the end of the first half of the season one, and we still have like zero to no idea what's truly going to pop off here sooner or later. So I hope you guys are having an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be when you're watching this. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I definitely will be talking to you sooner than later. And let me know what you guys are feeling at the end of this week's episode. What do you think's truly going to be popping off at the end? Um, do you think this situation is going to be handled relatively quickly? Or if it's going to go off and bad things are going to pop off, but at the same time, not many people are actually going to lose their life because they'll be saved or something? Or do you think this plan is just going to completely be stopped, full blown, and we won't even really see what it could have done at the end of the day? So with all that being said, let me know, and I will talk to you in the next one. So with that, peace.